No intro today. Did you prefer that? Tell me in the comments, but also tell me what you thought of this build. I think the aesthetics are really dialed in here for a mega high-end pure white system with some of the best components available right now. The cost to build this is high, £3,200. Now I got a few of the bits cheaper, so for me this was about £3,050 to £3,100. Yes, like I said, it's expensive, but you're getting the best. The performance, as you could see in the benchmarks, was absolutely top notch, which is handy because you're paying top dollar for it. But say you lived in the UK and you really liked this system and you wanted one yourself, well, you could head over to PC36.co.uk and you can get one delivered straight to your door. Shilling aside, the noise levels were fairly low, certainly not audible through open back headphones like these whilst I was gaming. There was no audible coil whine either, which is really nice. I really dislike coil whine. So that's a brief overview of the build that we've done today, but what about the review of the case? Well, that's coming up now. The H6 Flow is NZXT's second take, I think. Second maybe? It's the second that I remember. Anyway, it's the second take on a dual chamber design but with some refined features. It comes in at around £90 to £100 for the plain version or £120 to £130 if you want one with a few RGB fans included. In terms of value for money, it's about right. I don't think they could get away with charging much more than that given the competition from Lian-Li and Fantex. But as we'll see, it has some cool features that might just give those old stalwarts a run for their money. I have the white version, but it also comes in black. And I went for the plain version because I didn't want to be locked into NZXT's awful and expensive RGB ecosystem. That leaves us free to populate the fan channels with Thermalright fans, which are much more sensible. That said, if you're one of those mental people that actually likes NZXT's RGB ecosystem, that's fine. You're better off getting the RGB version then because it does come in a little bit cheaper than buying the fans separately. The H6 Flow has two glass panels. The larger panel comes off with a simple thumb screw, then you just lever the panel out. The smaller glass panel can come out technically, but there's really no reason to take it out, so just leave it be. If you really did want to take it out, there's a series of small screws that you can undo, and it's fairly obvious if you wanted to. The top panel is perforated nicely and it simply pulls off. There's a large steel panel to cover the bulk of that back panel, which comes off with a thumb screw and a pull. There's a small perforated panel here as well, which covers the three 120mm fan mounts. The cable management chamber is narrow but deep and surprisingly easy to use. The power supply mounts up here on this shelf, which is decent because it keeps that bulk away from all the tiny cables to manage at the bottom. That's something I sometimes struggled with when using the Lian-Li 011 Dynamic. The original version was that if you forgot to plug something in, trying to feed little things in that gap underneath was always a bit of a pain, and thankfully you can avoid that with this design. The hard drive cage is secured with hooks and a thumb screw. It can hold a single 3.5-inch drive and a couple of 2.5-inch drives as well, which I find is plenty for any modern system. You'll find all your case screws here in this small cardboard box, and if you don't need the drive cage, you could just leave it out if you wanted, but there's plenty of room to fit, so I would say just put it back in when you're done. Cable management is thoughtful. There's a bunch of tie-down points, you've got some Velcro straps by the fans, and there's lots of cutouts for efficiently routing cables. There are other little thoughtful features as well, like this hook for the rear fan cables to keep it neat. There's also a big gap in the top panel, which looks like it's laziness, but actually it's brilliant because it helps feed through cables that you're running over the top of the motherboard. It's a good feature. And to wrap up this chamber, what cables come included? They all come out of the bottom part here where the I/O is. We've got USB 3, front panel, HD audio, USB-C, and then we've got three PWM fan cables which connect up into a three-way splitter, which is also included. You won't find any kind of circuit board, RGB hub or anything in the plain version, but you will find one in the RGB version. Onwards now to the presentation side. In terms of motherboard tray, we have support for ATX, MATX and ITX as you would expect. Loads of room for the motherboard, but not too much, it's just about right. Fan mounts are a single 120mm on the back, three 120mm on the side, two 140s on the bottom, and in the top, three 120s or two 140s. For radiators, realistically, you can only put them in the top and you can do 240 or 360mm. You can't put a radiator on the side intake because it's too tight, it's at an angle and it won't fit. Besides, you kind of be ruining the whole point of that side intake, which is an unobstructed stream of air coming into the case. You could put a 280mm radiator in the bottom if you wanted to, but that's really only advisable on custom loop systems, because when you have the radiator below where the pump is, that's just bad news, because all the air goes to the highest point of the system, which is the pump, which is going to reduce the effectiveness of the pump and its lifespan. Now, we spoke about those angled side intake fans, and that's one of the unique features of this case. Just like the angled basement fan on the H5 Flow, these will direct cool air straight to your graphics card, and you definitely want these set to intake. Don't use these as exhaust. Now, normally, if you put RGB fans as intake, you see the ugly side of the fan, so that's why I went with reverse blade fans for this one. So those 3 fans on the side from Thermalright, they look like the kind of fans that might be pushing air out of the case, but actually they're drawing it in because the fans go in the other direction. The metals used throughout the case feel high quality and robust, and the glass panels, they are crystal clear. Actually, some of the clearest glass that I've ever seen on a gaming PC case, and that's perfect for an unobstructed view of your components, especially on the white builds. White builds look a lot better with super clean, crystal clear glass. We mentioned the I/O cables earlier, but here are the connections on the front: USB 3, USB-C HD audio, and we've also got a power button as well, and that power button's got HDD LED in it and power LED as well. For cooling, it's really difficult to give you proper scientific data because, to be honest, I simply don't have the time to be swapping systems in and out of cases to test the temperatures. But what I can tell you is that our temperatures were truly excellent in this build, and I can't have any complaints whatsoever. I think a lot of the time we get bogged down in the detail of which case is 2 degrees cooler than the other, but what you really want to know is, if I put a high-end build into this case, is it going to be cooled effectively? And yes, it absolutely will. So that's the case explored, but what about the pros and cons of the case? So the big pros of the H6 Flow are the high build quality. The angled side intake fans is actually a very compact size for a dual chamber case. It's very easy to build in with thoughtful cable routing, and it actually looks really nice as well. And it's got that angular aspect, gives it a bit of something extra over the other dual chamber cases. Now the cons are tough to find, but there are a few there. Now, firstly, it's the NZXT virus has struck again. Sort this out, NZXT, because this is awful. This goddamn purple sticker that you put on your glass. Really annoying. This should be on the film that you peel off, not directly on the glass, because when you try to take these stickers off, they never ever come off cleanly, and they leave a horrible residue mess or don't peel off all the way. Looks awful. So guys, please start putting this on the film instead of directly onto the glass. Some smart aleck in the comments going to say, oh, just use rubbing alcohol, this and that. But, you know, buy a PC case. I don't want to be getting noxious chemicals out to rub stickers off. It just shouldn't be part of the experience. Next con is the PSU placement. It is fine for normal size power supplies. When you get those really long 1600 watt units, you might struggle a bit with the cable management because it's going to stick so far out, it's going to be hard to tie your cables down. So if you do use one of those really big power supplies, I would hook up all your cables first, and then probably the last thing you want to put in is that power supply and just hook up the modular cables. It's really only going to be a minority of people that are affected by this, but it's something to think about. I think NZXT could have improved this case by putting some kind of plate or removable cover that goes over those bottom 140mm fan intake spots. I think this would look a lot cleaner and gives users the options to cover it up if they don't want to use 140mm fans here, because I don't think they add a massive amount to the cooling potential of this case. That, and also using 140mm just makes things a little bit awkward because you can't always get the same fans in 120 and 140. But the bottom line, is this case good? Yeah, it is, and I really like it. It's somewhat compact, looks fabulous, and has excellent cooling. If you're on a budget, you could absolutely make this work, but bear in mind there are cases like the Game Max Infinity that do a similar job but at a much lower price point. If you want to see that review, just go onto our channel and search for Game Max Infinity. This case is in that tier. It's along with the Phanteks NV5 and Lian-Li 011 Dynamics. I haven't tried the NV5, that's one I'm really keen to try out. Compared to something like the Lian-Li 011 Dynamic, I do prefer this NZXT case, but that said, I haven't used any of the new fancy Lian-Li Vision or any of those. One of the big selling points of the H6 Flow for me was the fact that it is actually so compact, which means that you don't have this massive fish tank on your desk. It makes it easy for me to ship it if I'm selling it, and overall you don't want something that's oversized all the time. You just want something that's going to fit your components, even high-end ones like this. So my top tips for using this case well are: To get the non-RGB version and simply pick up third-party fans using reverse airflow fans on that side intake. If you're using an anti-sag system, you want to use something low profile like the Lian-Li GB002. The reason I mention that is because Gigbayte Aero cards, they do come with an anti-sag system that you put into the motherboard, and it's got a plate, and then you sort of put a plate on the side of the GPU and hook it on and then screw it in. The problem was the way it was sticking up, it was right in the way of the fans, and it kind of ruined the look of the PC. So if you're going to have, an anti-sag system in place, use something low profile essentially. So Lian-Li GB002 is pretty good, or you can use one of those freestanding sort of ones that you just put in the case and then adjust the height. Those will work as well. If you're going to use this case, I would recommend liquid cooling because it just gives you the proper look. Now, there's nothing wrong at all with using an air cooler in this case, and it will perform excellently actually, because the way the airflow is, it's going to work really well for a tower cooler. But I think to get the proper look and the sleek visuals on this build, I think you're going to be much better off with liquid coolers. And you can get liquid coolers pretty cheap now. So, like Thermalright, I can get a triple fan 360mm white ARGB cooler for like £75, which is like nothing, isn't it? And with that, we're done. Next week, I completely drain all the company bank accounts because we're doing another RTX 4090 build, but this time with the 4900K and more of a dark theme. So you want to subscribe and get notifications on, and you're going to get that straight in your inbox. Predictions in the comments. Would you prefer a 4900K or a 7800X 3D gaming system? What do you think? But until the next upload, I'll catch you.